So here we go. Here's the old hose. Yeah. All right. A little pre-trip on the trailer. I've already walked around it and looked, but we'll walk around here again. Tires are good. Yes, like I said, I've already looked at them all. We're good. Oh yeah. Trailer's good. Lights are all working just fine and dandy like. Seal matches the paperwork. Always want to check that. Tires are still good on this side. Awesome. Alright guys, let's get in the truck and get going. We got a Harrisburg run to deliver. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Been a while since I've made a video. I figure it's high time to go ahead and make one. What do you say? Yes, we're going to Harrisburg as per usual, and then I got to pick up a load to come back with this time in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. So we got all that taken care of. But I hope you guys have all been doing awesome out there. I know a lot of you guys probably saw that little minute-long video I made, just kind of letting you guys know I'm still here. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that video. Not the video itself, but pumped about what the video was about, you know. But when I park and whatnot for the day, we'll really go over a lot of updates, a lot of things that's happened, and all that good stuff. But until then, let's just relax and enjoy the ride to Harrisburg. That last video that I put up here, that 1 minute long video, got demonetized. I used the music that was on my iPhone, and it said that the music was not permitted to be, you know, I mean, like the video is still okay, it's not getting taken down, but yeah, it was demonetized. The bastards. How was that demonetized? I mean, I used the music on my iPhone. I mean, like the music that comes on my iPhone specifically to edit, it's part of the iPhone software. So I figured, you know, hey, if I own the iPhone, I thought I owned the rights to that, but I guess not. Oh well. good timing. He's just pulling out as I got done fueling. Perfect. All right, let's go get some coffee. Those guys are parked right there. This guy in this prime truck ain't never gonna get out with those dumbasses right there. Man, don't want to block this prime truck in. I don't want them to take my nose off either. Why have they not moved those? Look at that. They're 3 deep right there, making it impossible for trucks to pull out. Hey bud, are you pulling on out? Let me back up so you can get around that guy for you. See, it's when people park like that, it just kind of it disrupts the entire system in the fuel islands. You know, I don't want that guy to take my nose off, so. You know, I got to do what I got to do. And I see now that red truck, that Ozark, they can't get out because of that guy. And I went pounding on that guy's door. He's not even flinching, not even moving. This is the just bull crap that's out here, man. Anyway, I told somebody inside, we'll let them deal with it. But it's making it impossible for like the first 5 fuel lanes to leave. Aurora International. Awesome. Way to go, Aurora. Way to go. Anyway, let's get on our own way. We gotta take a detour because there's a bad accident as both directions closed on 70. So I'm taking a road that I've never taken in a truck, and I am really hoping that it pans out. Really hoping. Route 43 going north. We'll see. We will see. I'm not really sure what happened. Just some sort of an accident going on down there. So we get to go like 40 miles out of route, because anybody that's driven through Pennsylvania knows there's no such thing as a quick detour. So yeah, that's going to be fun. 43 is a toll road, so I'm hoping it's going to be not too horrible of a road for the old Peterbilt here. So then we got to get off on 51 south and come right back down and basically get on right there where the accident is, but just past it. Hopefully everybody's okay. My day could always be worse, I guess, right? The interstate's closed going both directions. I got a feeling that somebody's having a far worse day than I. Just a mere inconvenience on my part, I guess. But hey, we'll get to see some scenery that I've never seen. Never been up this road, so it's all new for me. Well, on this detour, we have another problem. Right there, hose split. So now what I'm going to attempt to do is take that hose off, because I see where it's actually leaking from on the hose. Yeah, it's split right there, but the coolant's coming out of a slice in the hose right at the top of where it seats on there. So I'm gonna see if I can take it off and cut it right there and see if it'll be long enough to still kind of reach both ends and get me to where I need to go, or at least get me somewhere off the side of the road. If not, I'm gonna have to call somebody to come out here, and that's gonna suck because I'm out in the middle of nowhere now on this damn detour. Gosh, dang it. That sucks. But yeah, that's what I'll have to do. I'm gonna try to cut that hose and see if I can't make it work temporarily to at least get me somewhere. We'll see. Well, in a turn of events, I completely forgot that I have spare hose. It's the exact hose that I need. I just have to cut it to size. That's awesome. I forgot this was even in the truck. That is really cool. So yeah, we've got this hose right here. I'm gonna take that hose off, cut it to length to match that one, and reinstall it, and hopefully I have enough coolant. At least I'll have enough coolant to get off the road, because it's not super low, so we should be all right. It looks worse than it is, but it'll at least get me, you know, as long as it doesn't keep leaking coolant, it'll get me where I need to go, and I can get some more coolant to be safe. So that's awesome. I love when things like that happen. I opened it up to get the tool, my tools out to cut, you know, to get this off, to cut it, and I found this entire length of hose right here, and I forgot that we got this extra the last time that broke, and we just cut it to fit last time, and I just threw the spare in the back. So that's freaking awesome. All right, let's get this replaced and get off the side of the road. All right, so just so you know, it's better to go ahead and put that new hose on really quick, waste as little time as possible, because you're gonna have coolant coming up with what I think is the EGR cooler. It's gonna be coming up out of there. So put the new hose on to stop it from pouring out. And then it'll give you some time to take the clamps off the old hose, and then you can just take it off real quick and throw the old clamp back on the new hose and put it right back on. Wastes much less time that way. So here we go. Here's the old hose. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get that the clamps off and put them on the new one. All right. Well, we got the new hose on. We're gonna get her started up. I put the rest of my coolant in. So that should be good. Doesn't look like it's too low. So we'll go and fire it up and make sure it's sealed. I'd say that's a job well done. Yep. All right, I think we can call that complete. Thank God I had that hose. Holy cow, man. Completely forgot that I even had that. Awesome. All right. Keep an eye on that for a little while, make sure it doesn't do anything else. Yeah, she was bad. Slice is like right here where the slice was. All right, let's get back on the road and hope that we're good for a little bit. Finish this detour. We're going to stop up here at the sheets up here and get some more coolant just to be safe. A little bit ago back there I had a low coolant light came back on, but it went right back out. I was coming around one of those horseshoe get-on ramps, and so if I was low on coolant just enough, it would have sloshed all to the left of the tank and dried up the sensor for a short bit. So that's probably what happened. Then when I leveled back out, straightened back out, it coated the sensor again. So it probably just needs a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and stop and get some, just to be safe. That way, if something happens, well, I mean, I'll make sure it's topped off, but just to be doubly safe, you know what I'm saying? That way we're good, and we'll check on my work and make sure the hose itself isn't leaking anymore. Nice Corvette. And then we'll go from there. Bungee cord laying in the road back there with metal hooks. That'll go through somebody's tire. Yeah, I will say one thing that sucks with PACCAR, and I'm talking Kenworth and Peterbilt, not the PACCAR engine itself, is when you get a low coolant light after it's been on for like, I don't know, 10 seconds if that. Watch out, man, I'm coming over, buddy. Anyway, when you get that low coolant light after only a few seconds, it starts to shine the red light at you, let you know it's going to shut the truck off if you don't pull over. So it's like, you know, when I had my Cascadia, if I had a low coolant issue, I never got that red light. It would just keep, you know, just at least not that fast anyway. So it gave me time to get somewhere. But with this one, if I run out of, you know, if it gets too low on coolant and I'm on the interstate and I don't have any extra coolant, it's going to shut my truck down and I'll have to call somebody to bring coolant out to me. How pathetic would that be? So it's better to take a little bit of time while you can and pull off and get some coolant, and hopefully the Sheets has coolant that I can buy. I'm pretty sure they have the right kind of coolant, but I really hope I'm not wrong. We'll see. I mean, it's a truck stop, Sheets, so we'll see. At least there's hardly anybody here, nobody in the fuel lanes, so that's good. Feels like not a whole lot of people knows about this Sheets. Which typically I like to try to make it back here to take my break, but that ain't gonna happen today. Not after going so far out of route for that detour and then having to deal with the hose. on inside and see what we can find for coolant. All right, let's do it. Should be about right here. No, they should at least get me somewhere. That sucks. I really thought they had coolant here. Or the right kind of coolant, I should say. All right, guys, we're here. We made it through all the crap. We're here. Take a little look-see here, see how it's doing. Looks good to me. Needs a wash, but it's not leaking anymore. Could probably use a little bit more coolant, maybe, but it's up there on the, it's up on the max line. It'll be all right. Has a little residual on that new hose from just spraying from the fan, but I'm on a hill. There we go. Muscle. There we go. All right. Let's go get our paperwork signed and hook up to our empty trailer. Well, mostly empty. All right. All right. All right. Right. Yeah. Anyway, we're heading out of here. Maybe. Come on. All right, yep, we're heading on out here. We're gonna go to a truck stop, and we will do my obligatory ending of video talk, because why not? Oh shit! I forgot to make sure that my fifth wheel is locked in. I always like to double check that to be safe with a flashlight. Alright, we're golden. Kingpin is locked in the fifth wheel. Alright, let's get on out of here. It's going to be a nice day. I was finally able to, shouldn't say finally, I've only had it for a week, but I was able to put the top down on the Jeep the other day. Man, I miss, that is my 11th Jeep. And I really miss putting the top down. I miss all that stuff. Can't wait to take the doors off of her. Alright, let's get on out of here. That is a great place, KLLM, to park your truck. I love when people park in the middle of the driveway. When it's a blind driveway and you know, if somebody were coming up that hill, you know, somebody's screwed. They may not have pulled up far enough for me to clear their trailer. Barely. Just, I better not go off the side here. Not even friggin' God, people just don't. First it was the morons at the Loves this morning, parked 3 deep, keeping people from being able to leave the fuel islands, and then that dummy parked right there like that. People just don't think about anything but themselves at all, ever, anymore these days. It really gets under my skin, in case you can't tell. Now let me pull out in front of this car and make them slow down. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. All right, we'll see you at the truck stop. What's going on, guys? We are parked for the night, finally, for the day, whatever you want to call it. We're done. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. As the previous sections of the video show, they had a little bit of an issue with a coolant hose, and thankfully it wasn't a big deal. It could have been a big deal. Could have been a very big deal. But I just so happened to have that exact hose in the side box in my truck. So, because about this time last year, I had to replace that hose. And I just bought like kind of a like 3 feet of it. Even though I don't need 3 feet, but I bought 3 feet of it and, you know, cut it to length and then threw the spare hose in the side box, and I completely forgot it was there, and just so happened that's what I needed. So that actually could not have worked out any better, because I had to take a detour, as you saw, to go around a big accident, and I was in the middle of absolutely nowhere, so I was not anywhere near any shops. It would have been a bad place. Luckily, I had cell phone reception, but I just wasn't anywhere close to anything. So, and it was a Saturday morning, so it would have been difficult to find somebody that could have even brought anything out to me, and I probably would have had to pay extra. So, you know, like a $30 or $40 hose could have ended up costing me $600 or $700 to have somebody run it out, maybe more. But we dodged that bullet. It's not leaking any more coolant. I topped off the reservoir. But that's not even what the topic of the video is. That was just an extra little bit of entertainment for everybody's satisfaction. No, the actual topic of this video right now is, as it says in the title, I was recently charged, double what the original estimate was on a repair I had done on my truck. And it's a shop that is right by my house. I go to it often, probably not anymore. Not even just because of that, but because of how they handled a repair on my buddy's truck also that works here with us. He had a issue with his truck, and they really botched that repair. And they didn't even really fix it correctly. Like they fixed it, but not in a timely manner, I guess you can say. Not for it being their screw up. It just wasn't. I didn't like how they went about it. And then, like I said, to top it off, like I said, the whole fact that they charged me double what an estimate was that they gave me. So here's what happened there. I took my truck in to get a yearly DOT inspection done because it was due, and it was like the day of, maybe even a couple days late. We'll just leave that between us. So I had to get it done. Took it to the shop, and it failed. It failed because of some suspension bushings that were pretty bad up front. They were the leaf spring bushings on the rear perch. The passenger side one, not that bad. The driver's side was really bad. And I'd been hearing a little clunk going on there sometimes when I made a right turn and whatnot, but I had just gotten kingpins replaced also like 2 weeks prior to that at the same shop, and that clunking had mostly gone away. So it didn't really, like, it was still there, but it wasn't as frequent or as bad. So I thought it was just mostly the kingpins, and it was still there. So I should have brought it back, I guess, and said, hey, what else is going on? But they found it, as they should have, during the DOT inspection at the shop. So they said they couldn't pass it. So I said, okay. I said, they asked if I wanted them to order parts for it and to fix it. And I said, yeah, we're going to have to. I have to get it fixed. So I told them, I said, go and order the parts for it. It was on a Wednesday when they inspected it. I said, I'll bring it by Monday morning. I asked the gentleman, the service writer, I said, so, can you replace because they were going to have to, we're going to replace the leaf springs altogether. So 2 new leaf springs entirely, not just the bushings, because it was simply, they could have replaced just the bushings, but just because of the time they would have had invested in just doing bushings, we might as well have replaced the leaf springs. So I said, okay, go and order the parts, and I'll bring them Monday. And I double checked. I said, so on Monday, if I bring it in, is this something you guys can do during the day Monday? Like in your 8 or 9 or whatever hour shift here. Can you guys get it in Monday and get it done? Because I've got to be on the road Monday night. And they said, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, something else too is the carrier bearing was a little sloppy. So we were going to, put a new carrier bearing in. They said, yeah, no, not a problem. Carrier bearing obviously doesn't take very long. Leaf springs would take longer, but still shouldn't have been crazy amount of time. Of course, they were going to have to do an alignment and all that good stuff. Which, like I said, I literally just got kingpins done and front brakes done and a new tie rod assembly done at that shop 2 weeks prior to this. And their alignment machine was down. So I had to take it to another place to get the alignment done, and they had to put shims in, and when they put the shims in, it added money to it. Anyways, that alignment ended up costing me $500 for that alignment. The kingpins and front brakes and tie rod cost me $3,700, so keep that in mind. $3,700 for kingpins and the tie rod and front brakes, which, just front pads. The rotors were fine, but front pads. So anyways, at that time, they didn't notice that the bushings were bad, even though they were down there messing with everything. So anyways, I had the alignment done at another place a couple days after the kingpins were done. And then I brought it back there to get that inspection done. And their alignment machine was back up, so they were going to do an alignment, again, after I just spent $500. But it had to be done. They were going to do an alignment again. And, once they got it all put back together. So, before I left, after the inspection, I said, hey, so, ballpark, rough estimate, can you tell me what I'll be looking at, with the parts and whatnot. And labor. He said, so he kind of spitballed, I'll give it to them. They spitballed it, which is what I expected because I asked them on the spot what it would cost. And he said, well, he said probably about, $2,600. I said, okay, cool. I'll see you on Monday. And again, I kept reiterating Monday. Get the parts for Monday. I'll be here Monday. I come in Monday morning, first thing when they open. The owner's there. Nice guy. Was talking to him. And I said, so such and such told me that you guys can have it done by the end of shift, by the end of day. And he goes, I don't know why I told you that. We haven't even got the parts for it yet. And I'm like, well, I told him to order the parts. I said I was going to be back in. I told him to order the parts so that, it could be done ASAP. And he goes, yeah, no, we didn't order the parts. We still have to see exactly what we need and then order it from there. I said, okay, so when do you think it'll be done? And he said, well, hopefully by Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I'll have to rent the freaking truck, which luckily, my boss had a truck on hand that I could use. If not, it really would have thrown a wrench in the entire thing because we would have had to give a load back. We would have been screwed. So I said, okay, yeah, get it done by Wednesday then. And then he goes, oh, and by the way, the quote that he gave you was a little off too. And I said, okay. I said, about how far off? And he goes, oh, just a little bit. He goes, he didn't take into account that we usually replace other things when we do the leaf springs, like the hangers and whatnot, and U-bolts and whatnot. I said, oh, okay. And he says, so it'll be a little bit more. And I said, all right, that's no problem. So by the words a little bit more, I gave them $1,000 allowance, $1,000 margin from the original estimate. So I figured maybe $3,500 for new leaf springs and the carrier bearing. That's just what I expected. Maybe $3,500. So Wednesday rolls around and they don't get the truck done until like 4:30 in the afternoon, knocking on the door of closing. So I had to call them. I said, okay, so, I called them at about 4:30 and I said, hey, so what's going on with the truck? Is it done yet? And he goes, yeah, it's done. And I could just tell something wasn't right. I could tell there was something he didn't want to say, didn't want to tell me. And I said, okay. I said, so, you got the new leaf springs and carrier bearing and all that stuff in there. He's like, yep, we got it all in there. I said, all right. I said, you wrote up the new inspection for it? And he said, yep, got a current inspection. I'm like, all right, cool. Looking good so far. And I said, so what do I owe you? Because I wasn't going to be able to get there before they closed. So I was going to have them park it outside their gate. And I was going to pay for it over the phone. And he goes, well, let me, and I'm him right now. He was stuttering. He was like, let me go ahead and just send you the invoice over text. And I'm like, well, how much was it? And he goes, well, just let me send you the invoice. And I'm like, really? Are you shitting me right now? You can't even tell me I'm like, this is bad. So then I went from thinking $3,500 to thinking $4,000, because that would have still been $1,500 over his initial estimate, which, would have been an awkward thing to tell the customer that you were $1,500 off. That would have been pretty bad in itself. So I get the estimate, I get the invoice, what I owe. And the invoice is for $5,100. $5,100 for 2 leaf springs and a carrier bearing. And I opened it up and I said, holy shit, man. I said, you initially told me $2,500. I said, this is way, I said, I know that you're, the owner, your boss said it was going to be a little bit more, but this is more than a little bit more. I said, this is double, if not more than double what you initially told me. And he goes, yeah, well, the cost of parts have gone up. And I said, not in 5 days. I said, the parts haven't gone up in 5 days. What are you telling me? And he goes, well, we didn't charge you for the alignment. And I'm like, oh, gee, thanks for not charging me for a $300 alignment. Thanks, I appreciate that. I was not happy. but I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, so I paid the damn bill. I mean, what are you going to do at that point? Truck was already done. It was fixed. You know, I thought I'd gotten an estimate out of them, albeit not a written estimate, not a signed written estimate. But I thought I could somewhat trust what they were telling me up front, but no. Double what the original estimate was. Yeah, $5,100 for that. So in a matter of about 2 weeks, not including the $500 alignment, but just at that shop, I spent almost $9,000 on front end work. Are you kidding me? Just front end work. Wow, now that I'm saying that, it's like becoming ridiculous to me. Like, just front end work. So, yeah, yeah, you're seeing this in real time. I'm just now putting it together, that $9,000 on just some front end work. So that $9,000 included kingpins. It included front brake pads, not rotors, just pads. It included leaf springs. It included a carrier bearing. I know that's not the front end, but you know what I'm saying. It included the carrier bearing. It included $125 for a freaking inspection. And it included the tie rod assembly, the whole tie rod assembly. $9,000 for that. That seems ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, $9,000 I spent in 2 weeks. But the front end's good now. Fucking brand new front end, pardon the language. Brand new front end. Yeah, so we're good there. But like, you know, then of course this hose blew on me. And then the check engine light that I last left you guys with, I'm sure you guys were wondering what that was, ended up just being the knock sensor. So thankfully it was all under warranty still. The truck, everything was still under warranty. So what would have probably been a $1,200 job, because the sensor itself was $900, which I would have done myself if it wasn't under warranty. But you cannot get an aftermarket knock sensor for a PACCAR engine. They don't exist. You can look them up online and think that you find one for like $200, but if you read the reviews, they will say that they did not mesh up at all with the PACCAR software, and they didn't work. So, you know, I was going to be stuck paying $900 for the sensor. So thankfully, that was under warranty. We got that done. But then somehow the sensor popped out of its bushing in the turbo there in the exhaust. And because it was the upper, it was the forward knock sensor, the inlet knock sensor. So that popped back out like after the first trip. So that got a big old crack in it. So it was replaced again under, you know, for free, thankfully. But so we got that replaced. That's been good on me ever since. That's been doing decent. But yeah, so I mean, this truck's got a lot of new parts. And the only PACCAR related issue that I've had with this truck has been the cam. And I don't mean to say only to downplay it, because clearly that's a big job. Big job. That's an engine out job on this truck. But it was under warranty, and it's still under warranty. So, you know, that's the only PACCAR related issue I've had with this truck. I mean, you could say the knock sensor is PACCAR related, but it's a Cummins knock sensor. The entire aftertreatment system on these trucks is Cummins. So, you know, you're kind of splitting hairs if you're going to try to say that's a PACCAR issue. I mean, it is, but it's a Cummins part. So, so I had that knock sensor replaced. And of course, the clutch was replaced. I paid for that. That was $3,000 when I did the engine out for the camshaft. But yeah, so, you know, and like I said, on the way up here, that coolant line ruptured. And thankfully, though, with that coolant line, it was a pretty simple issue. And that's my fault. I mean, it's not my fault necessarily that it ruptured, but it's my fault that I didn't tend to it earlier. Because I noticed that it was starting to swell, and there was a little bit of seepage around the bottom and the other end of that hose. And I thought, well, you know, I'll take care of it, you know, when I get back. Well, I completely forgot about it. Completely forgot about it. And that's what happened. It came back to remind me. But it kind of worried me, though, too. I'm like, well, you know, if that's swelling, you know, what kind of other issues do we have? But when I got digging further into that hose, what happened was, when I put that hose on a year ago, I made it just a tad too short. And because of that, it rubbed on the edge of the, where it goes down around, I guess, I don't know if that's the EGR cooler right there, I think, maybe. But where it goes down around the little nipple on by the valve cover, and it kind of rubbed on that metal. Well, it rubbed through the inside of the hose. And, you know, and then that ended up filling it started to fill in the gap between the inner lining of the hose and the jacket, or whatever you want to call it, the hose coating, which is that blue part. So it started to swell it out. And then that's why it started to seep out both ends, because it was going to both ends. And so that's all it was. Just a chafed hose on the inside. Not chafed on the outside, chafed on the inside, which is why I didn't see it. So I made sure to make the hose longer this time. As you could kind of see, it's at much more of an angle. So it goes straight up instead of at like a curved angle. It goes more straight up and then over. That way it doesn't rub on there as much, if at all. So hopefully that will last longer. But if not, I've got more hose in the back, thankfully. But yeah, other than that, you know, we're doing swell. As you saw, and I'll talk more in another video about that stuff. You know, I bought the Jeep, traded my Tundra, bought my absolute dream spec Jeep. The color, you know, it's my 11th Jeep, and it's my, like, 5th Wrangler, and it's my 3rd Rubicon. So, you know, but that's the color. I love that color. It's an absolutely fully loaded Rubicon, except it does not have the hard top, which is what I want. I don't want the hard top. I want the soft top. And those are hard to find with the soft top, because they were brand new. They were so expensive. This is a 2018, and I gave like below $30,000 for it. But brand new, that's like a $60,000 Jeep. So most people opted to just spend the extra couple grand for a hard top, because they say it's more comfortable. I don't really see it. I've had a hard top Wrangler. It's just a piece of fiberglass, you know. I like the soft top more. It's more convenient in the summertime to put down, and if you get caught in a rainstorm, you can just put it right up. You're not leaving the top at home. So anyways, yeah, it was the absolute perfect spec for me. So I traded the Tundra for it. And then, of course, we had a scare with the Mustang. As you just saw right there, I'll talk more about that in another video. But everything's good. We're good. But anyways, with all that said, guys, I'm going to make some dinner. And I'm going to watch the new Legit Streetcars with Alex. I love that channel on YouTube. I actually look forward to it on Saturdays, because that's when he puts out a new episode, a new video. So I look forward to watching Legit Streetcars and eating my dinner and relaxing in the back. So that's what I'm going to do now, and just kind of enjoy the rest of the day. Maybe edit this, we'll see. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a good one out there. Stay safe and keep surviving to thrive. There goes a warner. We will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.